Good evening once again, and we are here basically to discuss fundamentals of working in a product team. And I would love to give us like a story on why I found product management interesting and why I feel like any person working in technology should be able to be product minded. It removes so many frustrations and headaches that you found on your part, basically. And so I could remember when I was in the university or when I just came out, I wanted to participate in an hackathon, right? And hackathon is like a program where different folks from different country will come together to solve different problems around SDGs or the kind of problems the organization are organizing or holding the hackathon wants you guys to solve, basically, or want people to solve. So I think I was participating in an hackathon organized by African Union, EU, Africa and the Journey. That was the hackathon. And I was trying to put together a team. The price tag was about $20,000 then, and different other prizes. So I was like, let me get together people, then let's learn and let's win money. $20,000 is big money, right? So it was very interesting that people were interested in the money. Oh, like, you don't need to download Slido. Just type in on your browser, right? You'll be able to get access to the board and put the code, right? So, so about my story. So, and it was very interesting to see that I gathered about 5 persons. It's 2 software engineers, 1 designer, but it was very difficult working together because most of them learned product design as a single person, just only with product designers. And so the knowledge of how to work cross-functionally was not there. So we struggled, we really struggled. And then in the end, we came, I think, 4th in our track, despite all my tenacity. But the good news is that we did not win any money, right? So, but that particular experience taught me something that never left me, that bringing people together can be very daunting if they don't have an understanding of working in a team, especially in a startup or a fast-moving environment, right? And it's very interesting to see that this problem still persists, right? And I could see a lot of people trying to get into tech, and you see that it's very, very possible that your first experience of working in technology is maybe the first job you're going to apply for. And so then there's a lot of gap in how you can function within a team, because technology teams are very fast-paced. They require some basic fundamental knowledge. And that is what this particular session is going to help you to learn, basically. All right, so let's move forward. Okay, so for today's session, like I said, I would say why product team, what is a product team, members of a product team, how a product team work, and the most important thing is how you can be a manager of yourself, basically. So these are our objectives, and I want you to start thinking of questions around this line, and I'm sure that if you have questions, just head on to slido.com. So let me show you how Slido works. Yeah. So Slido. So I can just search for Slido on Google, and then I click on this, and then I put my code. Right? So once you the code, you can be able to then type in your question, right? So some person already type in their question. So feel free to go into the chat and then type in your question. I can ask, what is product management? So everybody on the call can be able to see my question. So in case you have any question, just head on to Slido and click on send. Right? Okay, so moving forward, I'll go back to my slide and then we'll continue. Give me about 1 minute. I'm coming, please. All right, so I'm back now. Okay, so if you have any questions, please head over to Slido and I'll get to see your questions at the end of the class and then we'll proceed from there. So moving forward now, I would love some persons to unmute themselves and tell me which of the product on my screen, on the screen you've used before. Thankfully, we are using Canva, so you can say that Canva is one of my favorite products. So anybody want to go? Anyone? Can you guys hear me?
Hi, let me go. My name is Shay. I think I've used both multiple times. Google Map almost every day. WhatsApp every day. Slido, yeah, on some basis. OPay, not really. Canva, definitely. Product Hunt, no. Create Google Doc, definitely. To go. I used that way back when to go was still a thing. Yes. Notion, no. Pocket by Piggy Vest, not really. I mean, those are code for Africa. No, MasterCard definitely almost every day. So yeah, thank
All
you.
right, so about 6 or 7 over 10, right? If you're going to be using that framework.
Yes.
Okay, so now the question now is that what are the skills and techniques used by the best product teams at the best product companies to solve our technology problems? So imagine you're a product manager, a designer, a tech salesperson at Bolt, at Notion, at Chowdeck, at WhatsApp. What are the skills and techniques they use to always bring out fantastic products? Imagine WhatsApp. There was a time WhatsApp was very, in about 2 weeks, everything was just crazy. They changed the theme of the app from a very light green color to a little bit dark, or maybe vice versa. But there were some changes and a lot of users noticed some of these changes, right? So the question is that, who made it possible? Is it just one person? Is it just one team? How do companies come about these processes, right, that enables them to create and solve problems? And so imagine also on WhatsApp, I think WhatsApp is quite common here. It's like a level ground where they introduced Meta AI and everyone started using Meta AI. It was put to our faces that you have to use Meta AI. And so there was a time I got to talk to some older persons and so it's through WhatsApp, they got to know something is called AI and they get to interact with AI and they bombard my DMs with see what I discovered, see what I created. Like, so you can see that they are solving problems or creating value for their products, right? And how do these things happen? And that's something we'll be talking about today, basically. All right. So product teams varies across organization. And one of the definitions I would love us to um, describe a product team is a cross-functional team, right? And they are focused on measuring outcomes rather than output. And they are empowered to figure out the best way to solve problems they have been asked to solve. So a product team can comprise of a technology person, that maybe an engineering person, a data person, a marketing person, a product person, a design person. And this team is empowered to create a set of solution, right, to solve a particular problem in the best way possible, not something that we call in Nigeria organ-driven development. This is what I want you to design and build and everybody start working. That's not what I call or what we can define as a product team. We're still going to learn what some of them are not product team, basically. But a good definition of a product team is that a set of persons coming together with their domain knowledge, and their focus is what's solving problems, and they measure outcomes rather than output. So in the case of WhatsApp that I mentioned, is that, so imagine the kind of outcome they've been able to gain from WhatsApp Meta AI. How many persons use Meta AI and WhatsApp on a daily basis? Right? What's the conversion of that particular feature? What was it like? So those are the kind of outcomes that product teams really pursue, not just let's just build this new solution, let's just build this feature, and after building, you don't get users for them. So we're going to be looking at that. As a technology person, your interest is to identify companies or help your team to grow to a point to which that they are empowered to be a real product team. So a product team jointly, they are responsible for a shared outcome. The engineer, the product manager, the designer, the salesperson, the marketing specialist all have one singular outcome, right? And so they understand customers together, they understand the opportunity they're trying to solve together, they generate solutions together, and they iteratively test and develop the solution together. That is because for me to sell a product, I need to understand the product. I need to understand the customers. I need to understand all the value the product wants to give to the customer. So how can I learn that if not in a product team, right? So this is why I say that if you learn in silo, like take sales in silo, you learn product design in silo, you coming together on a team, there'll be a lot of struggle. But coming from a point of view that you're generally going to be working in a product team, right? And this is something I want us to start with as we start the bootcamp, that in your journey to become a tech talent, be rest assured that you'll be working in a team. And sometimes you'll be working in a team that understand this perspective, while sometimes you join a team that have no clue. So your goal is to bring this knowledge and this understanding to help the team make sure that they can pursue the best outcome for their customers with their product and get the best outcome and result as they want. Okay, moving forward now. So like I've made mention, there are some things around building products. There are some challenges or let's call them risk, basically, as Martin Kagan described them. So he called it 4 big risks. So in building products or taking a product from launch to the market, or taking a feature from ideation to market, or taking a product from ideation to market, there are 4 major risks you try to solve. The desirability risk, right? Users gonna be using our product, right? We didn't find value in it. Disability risk, are they going to be able to use the product, figure out where the icons are, the buttons, and all of that. The feasibility rate, can we build it, right? And viability rate, will it be good for business? Can we make money from this? So explicitly, a product manager is responsible for the value and viability. A product designer is responsible for ensuring usability, design the interface and design the colors and all those kind of stuff, right? A software engineer is in charge of ensuring that they can write the best code, make it reusable, maintainable, and scalable, right? So they're in charge of feasibility. And so these are the primarily three persons you get to see in a product team. But what makes sense is that you're not building the products for yourself. You're building the products for a target group of audience, right? And this is why the concept of product team goes just beyond the product manager, a designer, and a software engineer. Most often, when you launch your product, you gather data. So this is where a data scientist, a data analyst, a data engineer comes in. Similar thing to a tech salesperson. When you're about launching is when you start, most companies start running around. Let's look for a growth marketer, a salesperson. But the best dimension of these things is, can we bring in this tech salesperson from the beginning of our conversation? So the person can have a shared, remember when we defined a product team, person can have a shared understanding of the outcome of the product, grow with us as we understand the customers, do customer interview, understand the best kind of messaging we can direct to these customers. So a product team basically is in charge of managing this forest. So what is interesting about this forest is that the larger the team and the larger the roles in the team, basically, the value they bring to the table makes it possible to ship a product or a feature to the market and get the best outcome for you and the best result, basically. So now let's move forward. I want us to be able to work within time. So who are now the members of the product team? So like I said, primarily in a traditional company or in any startup, most often they look for product managers, an engineer, a designer, right? But I'm trying to say basically that a product team can be more than just the three. Because in startups, a product manager wear many hats. You wear the hats of a marketing specialist, you wear the hats of a data person, you wear the hats of a salesperson. But it's best that you can be able to identify the kind of industry or the kind of products the company is building, the kind of software, and tailor your team to fit into this exact role so that as you start your journey, the people you're working with are growing the same knowledge and understanding as you as a product manager, so that when you want to push the product to the market, it's not at that time you're not start looking for a salesperson or a data analyst. Then the person has to now struggle to understand the data, understand the customers, and then you have little result from all the resource, time, energy, and money spent. So Jeff and Josh, they made mention of this quote I'm going to read. It says, too often, people in organization discourage others from working outside the confines of their job description. Silos are the death of collaborative teams. From lean UX, which is user experience. For lean user experience to succeed, your organization needs to adopt a mantra of competencies over roles. I'm going to read it again. So too often, people in organizations discourage others from working outside the confines of their job description. Silos are the death of collaborative teams. For lean UX to succeed, your organization needs to adopt a mantra of competence over roles. So meaning that what matters in getting outcomes is about competence. What are the competence you're bringing to the team? And how can you help us to achieve our results, basically? And we're going to be talking about how all the 5 fundamental track we're looking at this bootcamp can fit into this description, basically. So in this bootcamp, we're going to be looking at product management, product design, data analysis, technology sales, and software engineering. I can categorically tell you that if you're building a startup, you're looking forward to working in any company out there, you'll be working with one or more of these persons almost on a daily basis, right? And so I want to help us to understand how best you can work with these persons to make sure that you can achieve the results that the company wants to achieve. And if you're just starting your journey, you need to start identifying people around you that fit into these categories and ask them questions. The more you understand how a salesperson works, the more as a product manager, you can communicate to your marketing specialist that this is what value we're creating for the users, and this is how best you can sell it. And the person will understand what you're trying to do. So the essence is that A product team can be 3 persons, can be 5 persons, can be 10 persons, can be 20 persons. But the goal is that what competence are you bringing into the team to help achieve an outcome, right? Compared to just participating in jamborees, basically. So moving forward now, how a product team work? So let's, if you look at my screen, you can see WhatsApp, I can see iPhones, right? So on my screen, you can see that WhatsApp made a feature announcement, a release announcement around their favorites, a new feature on WhatsApp where you can segment your chats and segment your conversation and have a new tab called favorites, right? Or favorites, right? Then another part was I can remember the time WhatsApp status, you can make voices on status came out. Everywhere was bubbling with it. It was like a very, WhatsApp drove a lot of adoption and conversion from that initial week of launching that particular feature. So the question is that some of these things, how can we learn from them and make it repeatable, even as a tech talent, or even you trying to learn a tech skills? How can you start looking at what this company do and how you can learn from them? So before your product team gets a feature like the WhatsApp voice notes from 0 to 1, or iPhone launching their next version of iPhone, they have to figure out how to work together. Imagine on Apple uh, day where they make announcements and the founder is saying something else, and on social media you are saying something else, and everything is just haywire, right? So imagine that kind of a scenario. Apple is going to lose um a lot of perception from their customers because everything just look haphazard, like what's going on here. But it means that for you to work in a team or work in technology, you have to learn how to work in hand in with other cross-functional team in an organization, basically. So we're trying to tell you that either already in technology, you're already working as a product manager, a designer, or you're just coming in fresh. Bear in mind that the best way to learn and grow is not to learn in silo. Find a community that could allow you to learn as a product team. You will grow faster and learn how to create value compared to when you're learning on your own. And that's what Bidas to the one to help you to achieve, basically. So moving forward, let me just walk you through some of the ways to which that some of these things work on a real life basis. So a product has 4 phases. If you're trying to build a product, trying to build a feature, the first is what we call opportunity validation. So I'm a product manager at Bolt, I'm a product manager at Chowdeck, and we are asked to solve a problem. How can we create a new kind of product line for Bolt to help Lagosians move faster, right? So I thought of, okay, there's a new opportunity. People live together and some persons move from mainland to island on a daily basis, and yet they don't want to use boats. How can we target that opportunity and create a new set of features on boats that can solve that particular problem, right? So identify an opportunity. And as a product manager, I work with different tools. I work with jobs to be done theory. I work with product field canvas. I work with my user designer or my user researcher or my product designer to come about personas that we work with and other things, right? To validate the opportunity, come up with assumptions and try to make research to validate, oh, this opportunity really exists. And then from there, my design guy now comes in, right? And then we start designing a wireframe, a prototype, a high fidelity wireframe, probably a sketch to a low-fi wireframe to an hi-fi, like high fidelity, and then making a prototype, taking it to the market and testing with people. And then from there, we hand it over to an engineer. An engineer starts writing the code. And then in the end, we're now calling a salesperson, and the salesperson starts looking for, oh, how can we push this product to the market and all of that. So that's like how most traditional companies run it. You move from one phase to another phase. But I'm telling you that successful companies, like we showed at the beginning of our conversation, don't run like that. That's not how these companies run. They don't just do handovers. at the beginning of each of their development phase. They create a simulation to which that all the persons involved from moving from opportunity validation to launch start together. You don't, as it takes place, as a salesperson, you don't just come at the end of the development phase. Your goal is that they create, their goal is that they create a system to which all of these persons can start together. And that's the concept of a product team, right? So they validate the opportunities together. So at the beginning, the salesperson will ask, if this opportunity exists, how best, what will convince these people to come into Bold's app, right? Log in and use this new feature, right? So the person comes with the competence of a marketing specialist, a sales specialist, and help the team to fine-tune their idea right from the beginning so that they will come in and develop the feature and the product can make sense and sell and get the outcome as the team are designing to get. So it's not at the launch stages when you're not bringing a salesperson, person is not racking his brain. What do we do? What do we do? But right from the opportunity validation, you can bring in a sales specialist, can bring in a data person, can bring in a user researcher, and each of these persons sits together, right? And then they look at the product opportunity and say, okay, what can we do? How best can we sell this? The designer will tell you, let's put the icon here. A space person will say, no. This is the best space to a marketing person, right? This is best to put it outcome because this is what we found out from our data. And all of those things are things that we're going to help the team to make sure that they can get the best results at a particular time, right? So moving forward, so I've said, in case I've just explained high level how a product team was, I'm going to just walk through it in a little instance and then we'll move to other conversation. So in product development is basically a multifaceted role. And so you are thinking through researching an idea, like I've made mention about both just now, designing it, building it, and taking it to market, right? And product managers sometimes lead and oversee this phase, but I want to tell you that it is best you work alongside all this team, all these competencies, right? Technology sales, software engineers, data, and designers to make sure you can come about with the best kind of solution that fits the opportunity you're trying to solve, basically. All right. So opportunity valuation basically means, like I've explained in short, I'm trying to just bring it closer to you now. It involves defining the problems, identifying who you're trying to solve the problems for, the opportunity that exists, how many persons have these problems, and all of this kind of, how can you know that this is going to create value? Design basically is talking about how you want the problems to be solved for the user, the interfaces, and all of those kind of conversations you hold in the design phase. The development is all about executing and writing code and making sure that it integrates with the current product, or if it's totally a new kind of product, you can be able to know how best to build it to make sure that it's scalable, right? And then launch and iteration involve where you, as a product manager, you lead the conversation and try to make sure that the launch and the performance and the learnings is well spread out. So like I'm saying, basically, is that a product manager leads this conversation, but you must be very careful to make sure that you bring in every other person that will make sure that your product can be able to perform best in the market, not even good, best, because they can help you to be able to get all you need to succeed in the market by making sure that all these persons are present from the beginning of the conversation around the feature or the product, right? So a well-structured product team is greater than the sum of its parts, right? So meaning that a product team is best. 2 seconds. So a product team is best when they work together. So you're not, as a product manager, trying to do things on your own, as a product designer, trying to do things on your own, and all of that. So if you can be able to achieve making sure that all of them work together, which you're going to be learning all the skills and some of the fundamentals of what makes you a product designer, what makes you a software engineer. We're going to be learning how these things are interwoven to other roles in a product team. So when you join a product team, these are the things you get to see. You can see that priorities are priorities, meaning that you can see that the teams are focused on what they need to prioritize, right? And they get the job done faster. Can see that the goals of the product are evident. Even the customers will feel that, this thing is, they really mean what they're trying to do, right? And you can see that from the user end, there are some products you use that you know that these people are not serious. They're just doing things anyhow. But if you see a well-structured product team doing the best job, you see that even from the things they're pushing out to customers, trying to help customers solve problems better, trying to help them get jobs done better, you will see that they are doing a job done. So the goals they pursue are well defined and their priorities are clear. Another thing, you can also see that in a structured product team, decisions are made and communicated quickly because all the persons that are needed to make the product succeed are there from the beginning. You can easily throw up questions, throw up conversations, and see that you get buy-ins of each stakeholder from the beginning. Now, remember my story about marketing. So because most of my friends then, we were just starting out our career, we've never worked in a real team before. So some of this conversation were looking like you were fighting the other person. Why did you decide this? Why did you decide the color? But because we were coming from a non-technical background, now into technology, it was very difficult for us to work together. And so it was daunting at first, but we were able to put through. But still, it was very evident that we were not a structured team because to make decisions was very, 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 very troubling. You say many things over and over and over again to come to a consensus because different persons with different ideas, right? And also you can see that dependencies will make sense and operate efficiently. You can from the beginning, a salesperson will understand what is going to contribute to the team from the beginning. A marketing person is going to do similar thing, right? And you'll be able to see that the dependencies that flows, instead of just handing over handoff at each of the phase, they are interwoven. Dependencies are quite clear and they are helping you to achieve your goals, not just we are done with the designs. So yeah, engineer, take, go and make the go and implement the designs. Or a product manager will say, I've written the PRD, and then we'll call a meeting. He will sit down for 12 hours and rack his head, develop a PRD. And when he's done, you hand it over to a designer. The designer will now say, okay, let me understand what he's trying to say. And then they'll call for a meeting and spend 3 hours trying to argue this feature is wrong. Let's remove this one. Let's add this one. Let's do this. Let's do that. And all of these are something that makes it tedious to work together because everybody feels like they need to work separately. But the truth is that working together makes the job done easier and also makes all what you're going to be doing to get the results you intend to get. So, okay, now, so in essence, now if I move to the other part, is that if you want to go far as a technology person, you need to learn that working on a product team will take you farther or learning that you're going to be working in a team right from onstart. We try to make sure that you'll be able to learn how best to work in a team right from onstart. So you're not going to be learning just for learning's sake. We're going to be learning to what? To contribute value to a team and help your team to achieve the outcomes that they want to achieve. And so in essence, product team solves so many frustrations, so many headache people out there are facing by making sure that all the necessary competencies needed to take a product from ideation to launch are there from the beginning. And so it helps you to make sure that everybody have a shared understanding and also help the team to make sure the dependencies are well understood, everything that they need to move the product from 0 to 1 are well spread out, basically. All right, so moving forward now, one of the things I also noticed that is very recurrent is that now that you're working in a product team, nobody wants to hold responsibility again. You're working in a team, so it's a product team. I'll just come to conversations and then you're not getting the best value anymore, right? So one of the things I also noticed basically is that you need to be a manager of yourself. most often, if you're working in a very small team, you're as a person, you might have maybe just one manager. You're running a large team, maybe you have several levels of managerial leaders, right? So one of the things that I've seen that makes sense is that you need to learn how to be a manager of yourself. And the best way to make a manager of yourself is that whenever you're given a task, in a product team especially, or let's say in a feature team is the opposite of a product team, where basically you're just silos working together to build something. Well, if you're working in a team that understand the value you're bringing to the table, one of the things you must always do is that whenever you're given a task, be very clear that you understand what they want to say. Conduct a manager briefing. Gather the information about what has just been assigned. This has to be a manager of yourself, basically. Start from there. Don't just you assign me a task and then you just start just going group, and then you're trying to solve the problem. No, go back to the person that assigned you the task or the project and ask questions, gain clarity. Let you and the person have the same shared understanding about what the outcome of the product is all about, or the task is all about. Similar thing to a product team. Whenever something is assigned, don't just start saying, because I'm a designer, you understand what they want to do. No. Go back to the team and ask questions. Why are we doing this? What is the outcome? What do you have in mind? If you're the one to do it, what will you have done? Right? Ask those questions. Then if second thing is that from those feedback, you understand the kind of value they want to create for the user, right? So you ensure that whatever they are trying to do fits in to the overall company objective, the overall goal of why the task was assigned. Because tasks are not just assigned on a granular level. They are assigned maybe by a manager or by someone higher up to achieve an outcome. So I was able to understand that whatever you're going to be doing must add value, whether it's text person, you were told to come up with a copy alongside another person. So the goal is that this copy, what value does it create for the user? So you keep refining this process and right, you keep refining this process basically until you understand that you've created a a problem. You've created a set of opportunity or solution that fits into the problem that is being basically asked, you are being asked to do, right? So this is coming from the lens of a product manager, because I try to communicate things from that lens, but it's easier for many people to grasp it than just trying to go into what each person will do. So if you're working in a product team, know that you need to be able to refine the process to which you come up with the result of your project or your task. Ask questions, right? Get to understand what value, what the ultimate thing of your task is not just for the team or for the product, is that what value with all my doings, all my energy, all my me trying to solve this problem, help the user to understand and help them to solve their problem. Then the other stage you now move to is that after the user, now is a problem. Maybe you're asked to come up with a social media marketing campaign. What is the value of this campaign or this particular sales outreach is going to help the business to get, right? So based on the shared understanding you have from the beginning, we need to see that some of the things you have in mind might be accurate, some of them might be inaccurate, and then what you align them out and try to understand, okay, I need to understand the value for the users and the value for the business, right? And so the last stage of you being manager of yourself is that whenever you finally identify the value for the users, the value for the business, you need to now validate and communicate the opportunity back to the product team or to the manager, right? The manager in this sense might be a product manager or somebody that is directing the whole product team. So in this particular phase, there are three things that might come up. Number one is that some of the things you're assigned to do will not work because some of the assumptions you've identified were wrong. So the team of the core product team will have to do the job again, or probably assign you a different task all in total, or try to find a way to refine the opportunity that has been assigned to you, and then you go over it again, right? Or the second thing is that the task assigned to you is late, I mean that some of the assumptions were not researched early enough to make sure that it doesn't create problems along your development journey. Or the third is that the dependencies are too large, and the team can deprioritize a particular project or a particular task. So what I'm saying basically is that working in a product team, one of the major things you must learn to do is to be a manager of yourself. So you must learn how to ask questions, how to make sure that whatever project or task you be assigned to, how does it create value for the user? How does it create value for the business? And then whenever you find out from your research, before you carry out the task, validate and communicate back to the team before you go ahead in proceeding to carrying out the task. All right. So moving forward, Stephen Covey made mention of this particular convo. He said, trust is a function of two things, competence and character. Competence includes your capabilities, your skills, your track record, right? And character includes your integrity, your motives, and your intent with people. And both are vital. So to be a manager of yourself, you must know that you must be competent in your skill for you to be able to get to your product team and bring value, right? So meaning that you're not just coming to come and fill in a gap. The team is competence-based, right? Not role-based, meaning that they're looking for certain competencies that will help you achieve an outcome. Those are the people you gather together, right? To make a product team, depending on the specific kind of product or industry you're trying to solve or you're trying to build for, sorry. So you must know that one of the ways you can be able to be manager yourself is to grow your competence, understand the gap that you are filling in a product team and grow your competence in that level. The other part is that learn now to have a good character, because part of the thing you'll be learning as a product team, part of your thing you'll be doing is that you must have a point where you can have a consensus, a shared understanding with other persons on the team, right? So meaning that you must be able to find a balance between your competence and how best you can help a team to have a shared understanding. So that what you want to pursue, number one, the team can agree to it, and number two, everybody can be motivated. This is something I see most common, that you say a company or a team wants to achieve something, and only one person is putting this particular project or task on his or her head because it feels like that's the person that is motivated for that particular project. So how is it possible for you to make sure that everybody on the team, right, is motivated enough to get the job done? Is when you can be able to know that you as a product manager, as a designer, as a software engineer, you are a manager of yourself. You must be able to, before any meeting or any conversation, study wide and understand what, number one, like I always say, the business value and the user value, and come to the team and ask questions, display your competence. Let everybody know that, oh, if we use this technology, or we use WordPress, or we use Node.js, the particular framework will not help us. Let us use Django, because it allows for easy manipulation of data, right? So all of all these things are when you are confident, like I said, when you are confident in your skill and they know that your competence is needed on the team, you can always come by what? And put forth your value, communicate your value, be a manager of yourself, and know that without you, that product is likely to fail if you refuse to step up, right? So the other part I will talk about before we move on is the concept of great teams now. So great teams are comprised of ordinary people, but these people are just empowered and inspired, meaning that they're empowered to solve hard problems in a way customers love, yet work for their business. Number two, they are inspired with ideas and techniques for quickly evaluating these ideas or those ideas to discover solutions that are valuable, usable, feasible, and viable. He said, and truly empowered teams produce extraordinary results. That's something that's supposed to be here, basically. So in essence, you can see that we've linked the 4 big risks when trying to work in a team or in a company. What any company out there, Paystack, Chowdeck, PalmPay, OPay, MTN, First Bank, is our product valuable? Are users figuring out how to use it? Are we building this product? Are we maintaining it? Will you come to the platform and the platform is down, and then you go on Twitter and start ranting, hey, OPay is down, OPay is down, OPay is down. And is it viable? Is it making money for us? Right? So, but imagine you're not working in a team that is empowered. Most of them, we end up bringing up products or teams that are not getting the best out of the ordinary people, right? So in essence, whenever you're going to be identifying teams to work, don't just jump on any job. Don't jump on any company. Make research and identify what kind of product culture exists in that company, right? Are they empowered and are they inspired? Are they solving problems, right? In the way customers love, and yet work for their business. Imagine working at PalmPay as a salesperson or working at PalmPay as a data analyst. You'll be inspired because you see lots of people out there using your product, right? You're working at Bolt, working at Paystack, working at Chowdeck, you're working at different companies that are product-led, right? Solving customer problems and yet making a lot of revenue from those solutions. And also mean that you are empowered enough to think through ideas on a team basis, making sure that you have the right tools and the skill sets to quickly evaluate ideas and come up with solutions that will help the team become successful in the long run. So in essence, all of us are ordinary people, but what makes us important is that we work in a team, or you yourself can foster an environment to which every person on the team can become empowered to produce extraordinary results. Either you're a product manager, you're a software engineer, you're a designer, you are a technology salesperson. You can foster a culture to which that people are empowered and people are inspired to create the best value for the users and for the business. So at this moment, I think we've come to the end of today's conversation, right? And then I'll be going for room for questions. So I think I have, let me check Slido now. So how many of us have been following so far? Let me see on the chat board if you have been following. Right, so I can see a lot of chats. I'm happy that you followed through my conversation. So now it's time for questions. And I'll go back to the board now and see loads of questions. So we have about 7 questions. All right. Okay, so I can just see 7 questions. So in case you have questions, you can always go to Slido and type in your question so we can have it documented, basically. So I'll start with will this code be used for the entire session of this class? I basically, you get to know more about how the structure of each of the fundamentals are going to be looking like. So do well to prepare yourself and join the class as early as possible. This kind of answers, you get answers to these questions when you join. Yeah, so be the manager of yourself. I think I've walked through it. You are responsible for yourself, responsible for making sure you bring your competence to the table, right? Help the team see that you're providing competence value for the users of the product, or create value for the users of the business. Learn to communicate. That's one thing I've said. I might have said it in different ways, but it basically tells you that you need to communicate with your product team. Learn to give people opportunity to have a shared understanding of what exactly the company is trying to build. Let them have from the beginning, not at the end of the product. You're trying to, at the beginning of, at the end of when you're trying to launch a product, that is when you're trying to bring in all other cross-functional team to want to help you take the product. And if you're working in a company already, you're trying to see how best you can help your company. This is where you come in as an envoy of the understanding of product teams. You need to make more research, and you can reach out to me on WhatsApp and send you more resources. I'll drop more resources on WhatsApp basically that you can read up on how best you can talk to your stakeholders currently on how best they can imbibe the culture of working in a product team so that what they have in mind, right, and what you have in mind can best be aligned and pursued. And basically, you can help your company to achieve the outcomes they want to see. So is product design the same as UX design? All right. So this question also I would refer it to the next section we'll be happening tomorrow, the fundamentals. When you join this section, I'm pretty sure that these are one and many more of the conversation that we covered. What's the difference between UX and UI? What's the difference between product design and UX design? So do well to prepare yourself, prepare your mind, and join the conversation tomorrow, and the question will be answered. Is this okay? All right. I think that's all from Slido. All right, so you don't need to download any software. I just saw a question on the chat board. So you don't need to download any software for the engineering track. By tomorrow, join as early as 7 p.m. on the dot, and the conference is going to start. So you don't need any other software to be able to participate in the program. As many as that we involve, you communicated through the instructor in the conversation tomorrow. So I don't know, do anyone ask any other question? You can unmute yourself and ask your question. In case you have a question, maybe you want to talk or say it yourself. All right, anyone with a question? Okay, so I guess none. So let's proceed. So for my next session will be happening on Saturday. It's going to be how your role contributes to revenue generation. Now that we've spoken about outcomes, we've spoken about product teams, there needs to be a balance on after you want to learn, okay, I want to be a software engineer, I want to be a product designer. Part of the question you must ask yourself is that why must each role in the team learn and understand how they directly contribute to generating revenue, right? And how does this apply to you? Whether you're just maybe a person you're trying to build a solution for yourself, you're gathering a team of friends, right? Or you're just joining a new organization, or you're just trying to restructure a team, you're trying to help your team, right, become better at managing or building products. We're going to be talking more about this in my session on Saturday evening. So for us to do a recap of what we spoke on today, one of us do a recap of the product, and then I'll go back to the conversation of the structure of the bootcamp itself. So in essence, what we are saying basically is that a product team is a team that will work based on competence, right? What value are you as a tech talent bringing to the table? And the goal is not just for you to come and work in silo, right? But you're coming to work cross-functionally so that you can help your team achieve their goals, help achieve their outcomes, and help them get the results they are looking for. And also for you to make it a takeaway is that the best product out there, the products on your mobile phone, right? The ones you love, they don't build the product in silos. They build the products in a well-empowered team, given the liberty to what? To make decisions and come up with opportunities to solve the problems they've identified, and then create solutions around those opportunities, and then get the product or feature to the market, right? So this is why, whether you're going to be a lover of boats or child deck or Canva, each of these companies has fostered a culture of working in product teams. And it's something you must put at the back of your mind as a tech talent, with the fact that you're going to be working in a team, and you must also have the necessary understanding and knowledge and what it to make sure that what you are ready so that when you join a team, you are contributing value and working based on competence. So at this junction, I also want to say thank you for joining, and let me see those on the call. There's still a number of persons on the call. So do you have any question around the bootcamp, around what I've spoken so far, so we can be able to like what's it?
Hello,
Hi,
good evening.
hi, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sheyi. So
Okay.
I just want to ask particularly concerning data analysis, because I joined this session particularly because I'm interested in data analysis, and I want to find out if like it will be touched on during this 4 days hackathon. And then I didn't hear you mention data analysis like so much when it comes to product design, um, product management, and all of that. Is it that data analysts are not useful at all within your
Yeah.
design process? Like they don't play any role? And where do they come in? Yeah, that's my
All
question.
right.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Thanks for the question. So like I said, basically, all the roles are important, right? But most especially, what is important is that for you to build a product, you must understand the competence that is needed to take a product from maybe a feature from ideation to launch, right? So most often, if you're building a product from scratch, you need all the competencies, like I mentioned here, to be present, which I love to do: a product manager, a data analyst, a technology salesperson, a software engineer, and a product designer. All of these persons, these 5 competencies can come together, right, to ideate features, to ideate products, and they all bring in their competence to make sure that the product is successful in the market. One of the questions I have gotten from data analysts is about data touch points. Whenever the users use the product, how do you want to gather this data and make sure that we can be able to get enough data about our customers, and then we can use this data to best understand how they interact with the customer, with our product, and in the end, we can better reduce the journey or help them complete tasks more better, all of that. So each of these roles are important, but in essence, you just have to know the kind of products you're building and where each of these roles fits in the whole grand scheme of things. So for the bootcamp now, we're going to be taking each of these competencies one by one. So if you registered for the data class, you're going to be joining you're going to be learning about data fundamentals. If you join the product management track, you're going to be learning about product management. If you registered for the product design, you're going to be joining the class. Same thing as for software engineer. So all of those things will be shared on the WhatsApp today, basically. So prepare yourself and prepare your mind, and you get to learn from all the instructors that are will be prepared for you, basically.
Thank
Any
you
other?
very much. Thank you for the value. Thank you for great learning experience. Anyway, thanks.
All right. Thanks, Oluwase. Any other person? Okay, Benga, thank you. Adewale, thank you. So any other person with a question? Okay, I guess we're good. We spent how many hours now? 1 hour, 30 minutes. So do anybody have any question, any comments, even outside of this conversation? Let's take it. We have about 5 minutes and then we can end the call at 8:40. You have any question around the tech skill, anything you've been learning so far, or any question whatsoever around learning the skill, about defining your personal ambition, and all of those kind of stuff, feel free to ask your question. Okay. All right. Okay, good. So I guess none. All right. So I want to say thank you.
Good evening.
Adelano. Sorry.
Good
Am I
evening.
correct?
Sorry. Yes. Beginning of this class, you were saying something about the time. You said we will be giving like 5 minutes to join. Then after the 5 minutes, the code will be like the link will be disabled. What about when we join and we kind of have network issues? How can we join back?
Okay. So primarily the goal is to make sure that everybody that wants to join the class can join as early as possible. And remember that the instructors are going to be coming in before 7 o'clock, and all of these conversation we're creating is for free. So the goal is to make sure that we can honor each other, to make sure we can join the class as early as possible. And remember that all of these things are being watched for you to get a certificate from Beta Studio itself. So just be prompt and make sure that you join before 7. And the moderators are going to be checking those who are coming in and out to know if they were in the call before, and if not, the person can be removed, basically.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Any other question? Any other question? Okay, I guess none. So thank you so much once again. So Favor, I'll hand over to Favor now. If you can hear me. Favor. All right, so another part I didn't make mention of is that we are on social media. I think I'm not used to all these things yet. So you can check us out on Instagram, on and check us out on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and follow us. And I would love to see you create conversations with us, right? So get to know you on the personal note on the social media platforms. So without any other question, I'll stop the recording now and see you all at your different tracks tomorrow. Bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
All right. Bye.